All right, Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, is with us. Talk a little Cruton as he joins us every Tuesday to do. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
Doing awesome. Probably not the same for a lot of LSU Cruton fans when they saw this news. So Sam Spiegelman and Steve Wiltfong over with you guys at Rivals have put in their predictions for Elijah Haven to Alabama. All right, what can you tell us?
Yeah, out of Dunham here in Baton Rouge. Took a visit. He did this past weekend for the Tennessee game, and obviously Bama beat Tennessee. Sold out crowd, all of that. Bama far from that week one loss to FSU, and now rolled off all these wins in a row. So they're right back in the top few teams in the country, and they've been on Haven pretty heavily more recently. And he's had a really good junior season now. And this is a guy we've kind of tracked since his freshman year when he first started at Dunham, and he kind of debuted as the number one quarterback in the country. And everyone has him ranked somewhere differently, but everyone's got him there in the top 10. So when LSU took a commitment from Peyton Houston out of Evangel, who's obviously had a very good year as well up in North Louisiana, there was sort of that. We talked about on the show what happens with Elijah Haven here in Baton Rouge, what happens with Garrett Nussmeier's younger brother, Colton, over at Marcus in Texas. And kind of things have been sort of quiet with Colton, but the first kind of notable news of the whole discussion has now been Haven with this prediction to Bama. And before, everybody had been on Florida, Matt, and that was kind of where he was trending. Well, now Florida's had a complete staff shakeup. So it's kind of up in the air as to where things go there. So Bama, a team to watch. And on the same day that Bama lands these picks to reel in Haven, they took a quarterback for next year, a local guy out of Alabaster. So everyone is sort of wondering, does Bama take two? Does LSU take two? And I think the good thing for LSU fans who are hoping LSU is able to figure out, hey, look, this is what the future looks like with, the staff. And here's some, kind of concrete news after the season, maybe perhaps of who's staying or who's being replaced or who's coming in and how that affects recruiting. They'll enjoy knowing that Elijah is going to wait till at least January 1st. That's what he said right now. January 1st is when he would like to make an announcement. So we'll circle that date. Still a while to go there, but for the moment, yes, Bama is considered the team out front when talking to people like Sam and Steve Wiltfong.
Trent Seaborn is the quarterback that committed to Alabama. He's a 4-star there in the Rivals composite. We'll get right back to the video, but thrilled to welcome Our Lady of the Lake to AFR LSU. As the championship health partner of LSU athletics, the physicians at Our Lady of the Lake serve the champions on the field in the purple and gold, but that same level of care is available to you and your family. I've been a proud supporter of Our Lady of the Lake my entire life, from volunteering at the Ronald McDonald Playroom as a high schooler to helping so many of the fundraising efforts for the standalone children's hospital to my own son being a patient now at that very children's hospital, and my primary care physician, Dr. Kurt Chastain at Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. Our Lady of the Lake has been a part of my medical journey my entire life, and you can learn more as well. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar. Shea, I know whenever we have this conversation, it's natural to think, well, it's the LSU guy saying sour grapes because the kid doesn't want to go to LSU. The more I kind of dig into this, it really feels like LSU had Peyton Houston as their number one guy. Do you get any sense as to that, or if it was just they pivoted from Haven because maybe Haven didn't prefer LSU or didn't have LSU at the top of his list?
No, I think you're right. And I think it's more than fair to say that, right? I mean, this is a position like quarterback where, it's not like he's an O-lineman or receiver where it's understood, hey, we don't have to order out who we love the most out of guy X, Y, and Z if we're getting all three of them. Quarterback, obviously, even more so when you're pushing for that first guy, that first domino to drop. It can kind of become evident like who you're really pushing for. And it was evident that they were really pushing for Peyton Houston. And that was above both Haven and Nussmeier, right? Like there wasn't kind of reports of, hey, look, they're going into overdrive to get a commitment here, but that was happening with Peyton Houston. So remember, it was Southern Cal for Peyton Houston, and then it became an Oklahoma LSU race, and ultimately LSU really sort of buckled in there and said, hey, look, you are the guy that we're after, and I don't think that's a knock on Haven. It's not you and I's decision, right?
Mm.
This is it was kind of the view of the staff, and whether fans like it or not, that's what makes recruiting fun to follow. One of the reasons I enjoy following it is we get to see the answer to all those questions in the future. If people ever enjoy revisiting, most times, Matt, people just like to know, and then they don't ever pay attention later on to what they actually do in college. But look, I'll say it. Elijah Haven's had a very good junior year, so I don't think this will be the end of the Elijah Haven conversations relative to LSU fans, even if he does go and commit on January 1st to Alabama, given that he is a kid that's right here in the backyard. But yes, I do think what you're saying is fair, that if you were to say who was the priority for them, it was evident that was Peyton Houston, and they got his commitment.
Shea, a guy that was supposed to commit last week is Javon Vital, as I did check last week, and some people in Southwest Louisiana told me Vital. So Vital, we'll still figure it out. But I'll go with Vital for now until told otherwise. He ended up not making a commitment. Do we know why?
Yes, he pushed things back. I didn't actually check to see what the score was this past weekend, but Hamilton Christian have been undefeated in 1A ball. They're trying to make a push for another deep playoff run, all of that. And he was trying to put together a bunch of stuff between family and school and doing it all up there. And I think it was easiest for them to say, hey, let's wait till after the season, and then you can go ahead and do something with, commitment-wise. But I still have my pick on LSU with the very high confidence level. This is a kid who, again, I think we've talked about it, but in that 5'9" range, and when you play in high school at any level, even more so when you're the best player on a 1A team, you play a lot of positions. But he's kind of in that Aaron Anderson mold, right? Like Xavier Thomas, where by college he's playing a receiver, doing some return stuff. Like he's got the body to play running back if you ever needed it, much like a Juwan Johnson did. But I think from the outset here, receiver is where you're kind of keeping an eye on things, and which turned out to be a really deep receiver haul next year in Louisiana because beyond him, Braylon Calais out of Cecilia is another 4-star in the Rivals 300. And then just this week, we've got alert, surprise, no shocker here. Louisiana's home to the number 1 receiver in the country for next year, a 5-star in Eastern Royal over at Brother Martin. So time to kind of put the recruiting antennas up for that 2017 class as the 2016 or 2026 class sort of winds down.
He is Shea Dixon from On3, the Bengal Tiger. Of course, Rivals as well on the recruiting side. At Shea Dixon is where you can get him. A big recruiting weekend, I would imagine, Shea, this weekend with Texas A&M coming in. What can we expect?
Yeah, we'll have a visitor list going up on the Bengal Tiger probably in the next 24 hours. They're finalizing it now, but it's going to be a lot of the current commits, a lot of the kids like Vital and Eastern Royal, guys like that for 2027. I think that when you kind of look now, we are a month out from the season being over, and then really kids who are in the playoffs, it starts to heat up for them, and you blink and signing days here. And say it time and again, but if you're going to stumble down the back half right in the next 5 games, and there's all the noise around the program, and you have potential staff changes coming and all of that, what does it mean for recruiting? Like, you can't know what that means for the transfer portal or any of that right now, but you can figure out kind of what it does mean for high school recruiting. And I think their goal is just say, or I know it is, hey, let's get everyone back on campus, from Lamar Brown here in town to Richard Anderson, the defensive lineman, 5-star out of New Orleans, and the out-of-state guys, which takes a bit more effort to get everybody into campus when it's not an official visit. But a number of them have already said they're going to come back and be there this weekend. So out of those 16 commits, which still not a ton of commits, but it's sort of the new era of how things are, coupled with the reality that they had some guys flip and they've missed on some guys, but pound for pound, still the number 2 class in the country behind Oregon, blue chip ratio wise. So you really want to just say, hey, how do we hang on to these 16 and then potentially try to push for flips like we've talked about, Blaine Bradford, who's here in town, committed to Ohio State, or if it's an offensive lineman like Ihenacho, who's committed to Oregon from the East Coast.
Fair to say quality over quantity with the high school class right now for the class of 2026. Shea Dixon from On 3 the Bengal Tiger and Rivals. Last thing for you, Shea. I know you and I have had this conversation many times over the years, but it's something anytime LSU goes through a rough patch that's worth bringing up from recruiting. People ask, well, does LSU struggling or losing? Are they going to lose all their commitments? Just what is the scuttle, the reaction among the recruits and the commits with LSU losing 2 of their last 3?
It hasn't been anything notable, right? Like I've seen around the country where if you have coaching changes, sure, like Penn State's class got gutted. When Florida's class is on watch right now with the Billy Napier news. But by and large, these guys they're 5-2. They could still potentially, right, make the playoffs. And I don't think I've always said it, but that commitments, right? They aren't kind of seeing things through the same lens that a fan would, or anyone who's sitting around doing our jobs would, relative to sort of what the talking points are each week. And Matt, I think something that we may need to talk about more, you've made a point of this before though, but during the NIL era too, that it can lock guys in a bit more than it did previously when it was just a verbal commitment and nothing more, certainly not financially. So to this point, during the season, no decommitments. Now, look, we'll check back with me next Tuesday if they lose this weekend, and perhaps my tone changes there. But I think that they're able to hold on to these guys because, by and large, most of these guys are either Louisiana guys or guys who have been committed for a long time and sort of haven't ever really budged off of that.
You'll get him on Twitter at Shea Dixon. Make sure you go read and subscribe over at On 3 the Bengal Tiger. Of course, Rivals on the recruiting side. Shea, we appreciate it as always, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, be well. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.